Alright, so we're going to write the C# program to send the byte over the USB serial converter into that COM port to our microcontroller and display. The .NET framework has the serial port class built into it, and it has a series of overloaded methods, or I guess overloaded constructor. Basically what that means is there's a series of different, you can add a series, it's kind of like customizing the method. You can have one basic method like serial port, and it'll initialize a new instance of the serial port class, but it'll go to the default baud rate, the default stop bits, whatever is set up for that. It'll go to the default values, and then if you want to customize, like in this case, you get serial port string, initialize a new instance serial port class using a specific port name. So here, which is what we're going to be doing, we're going to be telling it, because the USB to serial converter is usually on COM port 7. We're going to be telling it that it is on COM port 7, so this overloaded method allows us to do that. But we also want to do, we want to set the port name and the baud rate, and the port name, the baud rate, and the parity bit, and basically a whole bunch of them. So we'll probably be picking this last one, and that's what the overload methods do. They allow you to customize and tell the class, in this case, what baud rates you want to use, what bit rates. Otherwise, you can just use like the default, but we'll be using the customizing it. So go to our Visual C# 2010 Express. New project. We're keep it real simple as a console application, just the bare bones without windows, text boxes, and stuff like that getting in the way, so we can concentrate just on the serial port. Okay, because the serial port, because the serial port is part of the .NET framework and built into, if this was like a Windows application program, we could go over to the toolbox and there'd be a serial port class we could just drag and drop. But because this is a console application, we'll have to enter it here manually, and we need to put a using statement, because the serial port class is under the input-output class, and then under ports. Okay, so we're going to take, we're going to create a new instance of the serial port class. And our IntelliSense is very helpful as usual, especially for beginners like myself. Hit the tab key when you highlight something you want to add. Okay, now if we were just using the default constructor, we'd just enter brackets and colon, and then it would just give us a default baud rate, whatever it's set up for. But we're going to customize, so we're going to use one of that overloaded method, which had all of them, just about the parity, the stop bits, the bit length, the baud rate, the COM port. So the first parameter is our COM port, which is a string. And I know that mine, usually my serial USB to serial converter usually shows up on COM 7. You can see IntelliSense here helping you once again, showing you've got all the different overloads you have, and it also tells you the order you're supposed to put them in. You can see here string port name, then it wants an integer for the baud rate, and then the parity is an enumeration. We'll fill that in, you'll see in a second. The data bits, as the data bit length is going to be 8 and it's an integer, and your stop bits, which is another enumeration. So what we got here, we got string port name, then the baud rate, which is 2400. We have set up on our microcontroller, if you remember from the other lesson. And alright, parity. You see it highlighted like that, and then if you hit the dot operator, it'll show you all the enumerations available for that particular enumeration, which is the parity enumeration. And we didn't set any parity in our microcontroller, so we're going to choose none in our C# program. Remember, we've got to get these got to match what we had set up in our microcontroller receive function for the UART. If they don't match, then you're going to have transmission problems. And let me see. Then we need our so we got our baud rate parity bit, and now next is our integer for our data bits, data bit length, which is 8, and our stop bits, which is another enumeration. Hit your dot operator, tells you what the different enumerations you have for that. And we had our set for 2. And I think that's it. Yeah, stop bits is the last value for our setting up this instance of our serial port class. I'm just going to make it a little more readable here. Alright, I'm going to set one other parameter here. Now that I've created an instance of the serial port class, I can use it. My serial port. So you see it pop up in IntelliSense right away. Then you can hit your dot operator, your period key, and then you see all your different methods and that are available to you. And I'm going to use the write timeout here. I'm not even sure if I have to do this. I'm sticking it in there anyways. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the write method. Look under, you can just type in MSDN and then the class name or whatever to get this page to open up, and then it gives you a list of your fields, your methods, your properties, and events, all for the serial port class. And there's all our methods, and we want to write a byte. So we're going to use the write byte method, and once again it has overloads to it. If you're going to write a string, you use this method, and if you're going to write a byte, this one, or a character. And we're going to use the byte. But anyways, this gives you all the a lot of the information you need when you're trying to find out about a class and how to use it. It's real helpful. Kind of cryptic at first, but after you do it for a while, you start getting a little used to it. Alright, I'm going to use a little error I'm going to use a little error checking too, because I'm going to try to basically I'm going to try and open the first I got to open the port. So I'm going to use a try catch. Basically, I'm going to try and open the port, and if for some reason it can't open the port, then it's going to throw an exception, and I'm going to try and catch that exception. And also over in the methods here, you can find the port open. Port open method. And they usually give examples. This is a huge example of it. Anyways, there it is. It's a method, so it needs parentheses. And then I want to just send a little console message. That if it does open the port, then it'll tell us the port is open. And right below your try, you put your catch statement to catch your exception if you get an error thrown. In this case, we'll just print out unable to open the port little statement. Alright, this isn't a great exception handling, but it's better than nothing for the moment. So if we'll try to open up the port. First, we create the instance of the serial port, set up the parameters for the transmission, and then we try to open the port. And if the port opens, then it'll tell us that the port is open. If not, then it should tell us that it's not open. It was unable to open the port, basically because you don't have anything connected up to it. And then now we're going to try and send our byte using the write method. Back to here, MSDN. Okay, try to find our write method again. And our byte. And if you click on it, then it gives you a little example of how to set up the write method. So we need to create a byte buffer array, and then just an integer for the offset, an integer for the count. We'll have no offset, and we're only sending one byte, so that should be for the count. And I'm running out of time, so I'll pick it up next.